Deadly and devastating storms roll through the metro. The university cracks down during Rokerthon, and more earthquakes rattle the state. This is OU Nightly. Damaging high winds and heavy rain ripped through much of the state last night, leaving many people to deal with flooding and severely battered homes.
OG&E reported more than 3,600 power outages in Oklahoma this morning, including about 1,000 in Enid and 920 in Oklahoma City. As of an hour ago, all OKC Metro clients are back online, and just 814 statewide customers are still in the dark. Here in the metro, 4 inches flooded the street as some cars even got stuck in the high waters. In the 90 days prior to last night, Norman had only seen 3.7 inches of rain. Residents also reported small hail, roughly pea-sized, and high winds added to the season's first severe weather outbreak.
About 50-50. Some of the people says you're crazy and the other half says I want to go with you.
That was Kelly Jean Williamson, one of 3 storm chasers killed in a crash while pursuing a tornado in Texas last night. Randall Delaney Yarnell, Williamson's passenger, and Corbin Lee Yeager, another storm chaser, also perished in the crash. Williamson's black Suburban ran through a stop sign and collided with Yeager's Jeep, according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. Williamson highlighted storm chasing's biggest hazard just weeks before his death.
The biggest danger out there is the other chasers.
A devastating start to severe weather here in Oklahoma.
That's right, Sammy. Sawyer, can you tell us more about last night's storms?
Yeah, guys, so that tornado that they were on was right down here near Spur, Texas, and these are the tornado reports from last night, and there were several of them. Even the one up in Ada is actually not confirmed. This was from a few days ago, but overall, a lot of tornadoes were reported down into the Texas Panhandle, and it's just a horrible situation when you get out there. So tonight, we're looking at some spotty showers potentially for tonight, a warmer weekend or a warmer next few days, and then we're going to have a chance for some weekend systems coming in. Till then, back to you.
Thanks, Sawyer. And while the recent rainstorms have quelched wildfires across the state, damage has already been done. But Kansas and Oklahoma property owners affected by the wildfires are getting a lift from Oklahoman Toby Keith.
Around here, we take care of our own, and that's why we need your help.
Keith partnered with the Ashland Community Foundation. The team recorded a public service announcement asking for donations for those affected by the wildfires. The grass fires earlier this month charred more than 1,000 square miles in Oklahoma and Kansas, destroying miles of fencing on ranches and farms.
It wouldn't be Oklahoma if there weren't tornadoes, wildfires, and earthquakes in the same month. The U.S. Geological Survey reported a 4.4 magnitude quake this morning in Grant County around 10:30. The quake has since been downgraded to a 4.1. Oklahoma has experienced thousands of quakes in recent years because of injection wells, but state geologist Jeremy Boak says earthquakes in the Sooner State are declining.
The reduction in earthquake frequency we've seen, like the rise we've seen, we think is driven by injection of produced water. That's decreased a great deal. It was driven first by price, but most of that reduction has now been locked in by Corporation Commission actions.
To date, the OCC has reduced injections by more than 800,000 barrels of produced water a day. OU Nightly's Joseph Quinton joins us now in the News Center with the latest from around the nation and the world. Joseph?
Well, Carson, the Senate Intelligence Committee looking into possible Russian meddling in our 2016 presidential election plans to question 20 people. The first hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. Chairman Richard Burr says both Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and former campaign manager Paul Manafort will testify. Only 5 of the 20 witnesses have set up an official time, but the committee plans to schedule the other 15 over the next 2 weeks. And an investigation is ongoing tonight at the nation's capital after a woman nearly ran over Capitol police officers. There are no reported injuries, but a Capitol official said the incident ended in multiple shots being fired and the driver being taken into custody. No details were provided as to who fired the shots. The incident has no apparent connections to terrorism and is being treated as a criminal matter. Across the pond, Brexit is underway as the United Kingdom and the European Union formally end its union. Prime Minister Theresa May sent a 6-page letter to the EU Council earlier today, and when Big Ben rings its bell at midnight on March 29, 2019, the UK will officially be out of the EU. Also, some good news for the elephants not on Capitol Hill. Ivory prices have fallen dramatically in China.
That is some good news. Thanks, Joseph. One OU ROTC student dreamed about joining the U.S. military before he even was a citizen. Shay Smith has the story.
Have you ever thought about putting your life on the line for this country? Or what about risking your life for a country you aren't even a part of?
I wanted to become a soldier since I came to America. And I remember when I was little, when the U.S. went to Iraq and Afghanistan, I was watching the news and I seen all those soldiers, the helmet, the weapon. I was like, oh, those guys look cool. I want to be one of those one day.
Boris Amarofi moved to America as soon as he turned 18 to go to college and to hopefully one day fight for this country. His love and dedication to the U.S. and ROTC provided him with a path to citizenship.
I wanted to become an officer. That's why I started doing ROTC first, and then I went to basic training. I've completely offset one station unit training, and then I got my citizenship after that.
Boris wants to continue to give back to the Army even after his time being an officer in the reserves is over.
My long-term goal is to teach at West Point. I want to stay in the Army and then train all the brightest mind of the Army. So I wanted to see the Army become better. I want people to be better than me. That's why I want to become an officer.
After a terrorist attack in his home country, Boris knew that being an American soldier isn't just about protecting the land of the free.
That was made me think that, hey, I'm joining America. I'm joining the U.S. Army. I'm not fighting only for America. I'm fighting for the world.
Boris will graduate in 2018, finish his time in the reserves, and continue to risk fighting the battle that not everyone has the courage for.
If I have people like me to defend them, people might live a better life. So that's why I'm willing to put my life, because America keeps the world safe.
Shay Smith, OU Nightly.
There are other students on OU's campus getting their citizenship the same way as Boris.
2 posters were removed from the stadium during OU's Rokerthon event earlier this week. OU sophomore Levi Kell was told twice this sign was not allowed because it was offensive. Kell shared his experience on social media and received hundreds of comments and shares, but he did not back down until he was told his sign was not allowed due to trademark issues with the OU logo.
I said, so the letters O and U are trademarked by OU. And he responded, well, it's because they're red.
We've reached out to the university for comment. OU Press Secretary Matt Epting says OU did not permit attendees to display political messages at the event. Officials identified and removed 2 posters of opposite political viewpoints from the event. Neither individual was asked to leave the event. OU Nightly plans to investigate similar incidents across campus.
Still ahead on OU Nightly, the biggest STD breakout in recent state history.
Plus, a hangover remedy might be coming to a pharmacy near you. Stay with us.
A bill that would update HIV and AIDS prevention education in Oklahoma public schools has been rejected. House Bill 1538 would have required that classroom curriculum include specific recommendations that people who engage in high-risk behavior should get tested and use available prevention methods, like condoms. The representatives worried it would create an unfunded mandate for schools and statistics on HIV and AIDS prevalence in the state.
State health officials confirmed that Oklahoma County is in the midst of the largest syphilis outbreak in recent state history, with 80 residents infected over the past few months. The most common risk factors associated with the STD outbreak are drugs, exchanging sex for money, or having multiple sex partners.
Pam Ortega joins us now in the studio with the latest in the world of health, including an opioid epidemic. Pam?
Thanks, Sammy. The opioid epidemic is making waves throughout the country. Today, President Trump named New Jersey Governor Chris Christie to an advisory role to develop a plan to combat the crisis. Since 1999, the number of overdose deaths involving opioids has quadrupled. From 2000 to 2015, more than 500,000 people died, and 91 Americans die every day from this. And for those fitness lovers, you might have seen the new hottest trend, aerial fitness. It involves hanging from the ceiling like a trapeze artist. Benefits include hand-eye coordination, confidence, and the activity incorporates some elements of ballet and bar. And for those of you dealing with hangovers, Yale students have your back. 2 Yale students developed a remedy. The remedy, a powdered citrus-flavored mixture made up of vitamins and nutrients promoting liver health. The powder should be taken before you start drinking. The remedy is now in the hands of a pharmaceutical company, and she will probably be available next month. What do you guys think about that?
Thanks, Pam. I'll be sure to keep those remedies in my back pocket for when I need those.
The Oklahoma State Department of Health is already planning for another round of cuts. The OSDH developed plans in case of 5, 10, or 15% cuts in state appropriations. These are just some of the programs that would be reduced or eliminated according to the plans. Payments for uninsured Oklahomans, child abuse prevention programs, cancer screenings, and county clinics. The OSDH has already seen a $21 million cut in state appropriations. These new scenarios plan for cuts from $2.7 to $8.1 million.
The Oklahoma Department of Tourism and Recreation says it may have to close 16 state parks to make up for a potential 14.5% budget cut. The cut would slack more than $2.5 million. Of the 16 that could potentially close, the parks that are most vulnerable to the potential cuts include Talamina State Park in southeast Oklahoma, Great Salt Plains State Park in northern Oklahoma, Cherokee Landing in eastern Oklahoma, and Natural Falls State Park. Still ahead on OU Nightly, a pigskin update between the Hashes and spring football.
Plus, Sawyer Wells is here with the weather.
Yeah, guys, I'll give you an update on that weekend system right after this. Welcome back to OU Nightly. We got our live shot out at the South Oval right now, pumping water out of the Unity Garden. And this is kind of a common sight around low-lying areas because we received just over 4 inches of rain last night. And luckily, it's not raining out right now. 59 degrees, those west-northwest winds at 14 miles per hour. Those are going to be picking up as we go into the overnight hours. And the humidity is still pretty high outside. So anyway, what we're going to look at as far as our current temperatures across the state, you can see where they've had more cloud cover than the southeast portion of the state, and this is pretty common. It's going to be kind of the opposite tomorrow. We're looking at upper 70s down the southeast, and then all the way up in the northwest, we're looking at the mid-40s. Now, lows for tonight are going to be pretty normal across the entire state. We're going to be in the mid-40s, maybe some upper 30s, especially to the northwest, where usually they're colder. And so then we're going to look at our highs for tomorrow. It's going to be kind of the opposite of today. We're looking at 61 here in Norman, and then mid to upper 60s down in the southwest. And that's going to be a nice change than yesterday. Unfortunately, though, we're going to get back into this into this rainfall as these systems move in. So 24-hour rainfall amounts for just over 4 inches. You can see the nice sharp line because that was a squall line, the way it formed. There's a big sharp difference between places that got 4 inches of rain like Norman and places down near Purcell, which received maybe half an inch if they were lucky. So we're going to put this into motion. This our system is going to be moving on off to the east, affecting the north, looking at some snow up in the northeast. And then our next system is building on off to the Rockies. That's going to make its way into our area Friday night into Saturday morning, bringing with us some moisture. We're going to have a kind of, the Gulf moisture is going to kind of refill our fuel tanks, and it's going to bring energy up with it. We'll put this right here in the motion, and that's going to start some showers. We're looking at Saturday right around midday, and that's going to move on off to the east. We're not looking at 4 inches of rain, but we do have the potential for some severe weather. Now, the system is still several days off, so models are still trying to get a good hold on what's actually going to happen. But right now, I'm kind of agreeing with this. We're looking at maybe half an inch to an inch of rain right here in Norman. So our 7-day forecast tomorrow, we're going to be right around normal for this time of year, partly cloudy skies. And then Friday, we get a break. We get into that sun, mid 70s. Those winds are going to start to pick up tomorrow again, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then especially into Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at those winds 15 to 20 miles per hour on Saturday, 40% chance all the way. So it's looking like a wet weekend overall.
A wet weekend. That's unfortunate because we have OU's big event, the Community Service Project. I bet some of them get rained out.
But it is good to see we're getting all this rain.
Yeah, knocking out the drought.
We need it.
Thanks, Sawyer. Some changes coming to Lon Kruger's men's basketball team. Blakely Durham has more on that. Blakely?
That's right, Carson. One Sooner basketball player will not be back for next season, and an OU golfer gets a chance to play at the most beautiful golf course in the nation. We'll tell you who both those guys are coming up next in sports. Welcome back to OU Nightly Sports. I'm Blakely Durham. The reigning national championship women's gymnastics team earned the #1 overall seed heading into the NCAA tournament. The Sooners start postseason competition this Saturday in the regional finals and face off against Kentucky, Washington, Utah State, Stanford, and BYU. The top 2 finishers of the weekend will then advance to the NCAA championships April 14th and 15th. Senior Chase Capps talks about the team preparing for regionals.
It is definitely an honor being able to be in this position the past 3 years, and being able to be here a 4th year is incredible. And I know this team's got what it takes this year, and so I'm ready for us to go out there and kill it at regionals.
After finishing second in the U.S. Amateurs, sophomore Brad Dahlke earned a spot to play in the world's greatest golf course tournament, the Masters, in 2 weeks. But this weekend, the whole team will be heading to Augusta to compete in the Augusta Invitational played at the Country Club across the street from the course. The team will also get a chance to follow Dahlke around the Masters course on Monday as he plays his practice round in preparation for the Masters.
Obviously, it's a bigger stage and a bigger tournament. There's better players, but that at the time that was the biggest tournament I'd ever played in, and so now this one will be the biggest tournament I've ever played in. So I think that experience will be helpful.
With spring practice fully underway, the Sooner offense is working to find their new groove. A big bright spot. All 5 starting offensive linemen are returning next season for the Sooners. But offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley says due to the depth in that position, there's no guarantee they will all be the starters again.
I would be shocked if we have the same starting 5 again. I mean, just because, and those guys played obviously really, really well for us, especially, there at the end of the year. But with the kind of guys we got pushing those guys, I mean, there's going to be some back and forth.
OU point guard Darian Strongmore has announced that he will be transferring from OU next season. Strongmore was a junior college transfer and spent just 1 year in Norman, averaging 3.7 points per game. The Sooners signed 5-star point guard Trey Young from Norman North back in February. And a happy Wine Wednesday to you all. It's now time for our Whiner of the Week. He's known for his outbursts and criticisms of the media, and he's back at it again in 2017 after being asked a question about Alabama's offensive scheme of ball control. Saban responded with this.
Or do you do what everybody else in the media does, just create some and throw it on the wall and see what sticks, which is what I see happening everywhere.
Come on, Saban. Really? What is this obsession with hating on the media? They're just trying to do their jobs. I understand maybe when a reporter asks a dumb question and coaches get annoyed, but this guy asked a legitimate question and Saban just went off. I mean, he needs to take a chill pill and have a glass of wine tonight. Just
a glass of wine would do him good.
Yeah,
calm down, Saban.
He's always grouchy, so this is nothing new.
You're right, he is.
Well, thanks, Blakely. Still to come on OU Nightly, a grandpa gave his granddaughter quite a heartwarming present for her 16th. Stay tuned.
I'm Abby Green at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Ivanka Trump will become a government employee of the White House in the next few days. Trump will be an advisor to her father and will file her own Form 278, making her legally bound by the ethics rules. White House officials confirm Trump is moving to the West Wing and will receive government communications devices. An unsigned statement from the White House says they are pleased she has chosen to take this step. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Abby. It was quite a sweet 16 for Lauren Blank last week. The Keller, Texas teen received a birthday present from her grandpa that took years in the making, journals. The journals document their day-to-day life together from the time Lauren was 2 to the time she was 5 years old. The present came as a huge surprise and is something Lauren says she will hold near and dear to her heart the rest of her life. I love a story like that. Yeah, it warms your heart. What a thoughtful grandpa.
Not your, normal present, but it's a good one.
Not your normal 16th birthday present. She probably wanted a car, but
Right,
the journals will do.
Sawyer, one quick look at weather.
Yeah, so
Tongue
tonight
twister
we're looking
over
at starting in the upper 50s. We'll be cooling down to lower 50s by midnight. Those winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour, so it's going to stay cloudy and gusty at times.
Little drizzly.
Potentially some spotty showers.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you. And thanks for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.